On January 1st, 1999, the European Monetary Union introduced the euro to be used by all financial institutions and member nations. On January 1st, 2002, the euro became the standard currency for everyday transactions in all member nations. Since 1803, Lorsbacher Thal has been serving some of the best apple wine in the entire Frankfurt region. They also serve some pretty good food. Herr Dorm and his family have owned it since day one, and tonight they've invited us to be their special guests.
All right, so here we have a Rippchen. That's a piece of pork meat which is simply boiled into the water.
Warm wird und aber, dass sich auskocht, ne?
So what happens here, it will just shortly be heated. It shouldn't boil too long, just a few minutes in the hot water. That's it, that's the whole trick. Another super typical thing is Schnitzel. So you see the meat is put into flour, then into eggs. This is bread. That makes the surface. That's the secret. And it goes into the heat. So here we see the Haxen. Comes from the stove and it's one of the most typical foods. Now here we see the top specialty of Frankfurt. That's green sauce. It's a mixture of 7 different herbs, including parsley, for example. And it's traditionally served with hard-boiled eggs and some potatoes. This is definitely the most traditional and most typical food that this city has to offer. Okay, John, this is one of the specialties. It's the pork meat, which is cooked, and it's served traditionally with mashed potatoes. Here comes number 2, the typical German Schnitzel. You know, the Germans would die for the Schnitzel, and even if they travel the world, they will always order a Schnitzel wherever they go. This has been cooked in water, as we just saw on the TV before, and this is the alternative. You can also put it in the pan and fry it, and that's the alternative.
So in this restaurant, it's all fend for yourself pretty much. You pour your own apple wine and you also grab your own silverware. So I'm going to have my man Jens here, the silverware, because we got to eat. This stuff's incredible. We got all this food in front of us right now. Now it's time to go down to the cellar. From the time that you get the apples, from press the apples to the time that we drink it, what's the time process?
Basically, the harvest is brought in on September or October. Then they slowly start the fermentation process, wine which we call Rauscher. And this they are selling in the cider restaurants for a couple of weeks, and then after 3 or 4 months the wine stabilizes. So for roughly 1 year they serve the wine, but not longer. Then it's done. What we have here is something you don't find very often in Frankfurt. It's an old tradition and it's about craftsmanship, it's about quality. So in a cider restaurant like this, while they might serve beer in bottles, this is where the pride is.
Wonderful restaurant, excellent food, very tasty apple wine. Prost.
Prost, John. Prost und danke.
Dankeschön.
We hope you enjoyed our tour of Frankfurt, a true international city full of contrasts. Thanks to Lufthansa Airlines for getting us here, and thanks to the German National Tourist Office for setting up these tours with these fantastic people here in Frankfurt. We had a great time, so vielen Dank. Thanks also to our sponsors, Comcast, American Laser, Latitudes, London Influence, and the Showroom. We'll see you next time from the beer-drinking capital auf der Welt, München. See you next time from Munich. Make good memories, everybody.